Hi there. I'm Varigate O'Connor, and I wanted to invite you into the studio. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and we were talking about brush sizes and what most people use, and they're pretty standard size brushes here. So what I wanted to do is just give you an idea about what a few brush sizes do and what you can do with them. The other thing is how to create maybe a few little windows on a building to make it just a little easier for you. And I'm going to take you over to the table and we're going to go ahead and take a look here. The standard size brushes that most people use is something like this, maybe a 3, a 6, an 8, and a 12, or maybe a 10. And that's fine if you're going to do small painting or like this, tiny painting, but that's not really going to work if you're going to try to do something larger like that. Or we want to use the appropriate size brush for the size paper or painting that we're working on. Smaller brushes like this, you get too fiddly. They're wonderful if you're going to do more botanical work or if you want to do something very detailed. But again, if you want to be more expressive, you need something a little larger. And basically the brushes that I would use in comparison to this would be, I would use these brushes, a number 8, 14, 20, and a 30 brush. So you can see the difference in size. And even if I was working on a very large 30 by 40 or 40 by 60 painting, I still use these brushes. And I can use these brushes for smaller paintings or larger ones. But I cannot use these for larger paintings because then I'm going to get too brushy and I can't make enough water and color in my palette. Because if you're using a small brush like this and you dip it in your rinse bucket and then you get the color from the well and make your puddle, you can only make a certain amount. If I want a lot of color, I'd be thinking of a number 20 blend brush. Now we can go more into detail later about that, but that's just to give you a good idea. And these are the brushes that I like to work with right here, because again, something like this, smaller brushes would work fine. You can see this too, because we want more texture. But the disadvantage with having a brush like this, a small one, is that you're going to start drawing it in. You're going to want to get every little window, every little detail. So to avoid that, use larger brushes, walk your hand higher up the handle, and you could even use a piece of paper to do some painting. And it's a wonderful way to get more texture. And I love to do this, and we can always do something like that later. So I'll move those over to the side. And then thinking about the windows. So if we look at this, you can see that I'm not outlining the windows. I'm just suggesting that they're there and I'm working with my values. The other thing, I want to change the mood of this. I wanted to make it fresher. I don't want it to be so dark. And I wanted to give it more of a three-dimensional look. So I'm going to go a little darker underneath here and a little lighter there. So that's what we're going to be working on. But the big deal of what I wanted to discuss was the windows. I'm going to work on this one for a second. This is out there at Pierce Point in Point Reyes. This is also another one. And what I really like about these is the simplicity without doing too much. You can see we have all those there. I love this. I just love the big white shapes and then simplifying the grasses. And even if I think about the grasses, what I see too often is that people are trying to paint every little blade of grass. Now you can do something like that, but we want to lose a few edges. So the idea here is I want to show you how to do a window and lose an edge. Okay, I'm going to grab some color. You can see by using a small brush, this is a number 8. I can only get so much color in there. I'm also going to put a little burnt sienna in here. And I don't want it to be too watery because I want to show you what I see most people doing. Maybe I'll even use a smaller brush. Okay, so this is very typical. People are using a small brush like this, and then they come in and they want to be really detailed and they're going to outline things. I'm trying to tell you not to do this, but I want to show you what most people do because it's going to be very familiar to you. So a lot of times people will get all of this detail in, thinking that's great. And that can be fine, but we can easily overdo it. Okay, that doesn't look very good. And why that doesn't look very good is because these hard lines are pulling the viewer's eye into this area, and it doesn't move their eye through the rest of the painting. So how I'm going to take care of this and just get rid of it is I'm going to take a wash brush like this, a wash modeler. Usually when I do my florals, I might use something like this, a bamboo hockey brush, because it holds a lot of water. But for this one, I just need to move this. And I should have gone a little faster because I'm using a blue in here and that can easily stain the paper. But I'm intentionally taking my time because I want you to see how we're going to rescue it. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over this. Just don't be afraid to scrub back into it. Just like that, and now it's gone. Okay, so on this side, I really like the big white space here, but I'm going to create a few windows, and how I'm going to do that is maybe use a flat brush, or I could use this brush, and maybe I'll do a couple windows. So what I'm going to do here is take my flat brush, get a little color in here. Okay, that has too much color. I don't want it to be too dark. In fact, maybe what I'll do is do this right here. I'm looking for not too much water, not too much pigment, and then I just want to suggest the window. So maybe I'll just go like this, or maybe break it up like that a little bit. And if I want to create a windowsill or something like that, I might just touch it. Now, I think that's much more effective than creating a little line all the way around. Or if I want to create, instead of all the lines here on the barn, I can suggest it just by touching it, break it up. And I know most people are going to want to put all of them in. We don't need to do that. We just want to suggest it. In fact, I think that's too much. So I'm going to get rid of this. Just like that. I could even use this big flat brush, get some water and color in there, and maybe just touch it like this. And then maybe take the 20. This one has too much color. And just touch it. We're just suggesting. Anyway, hopefully that gives you some idea. The colors aren't perfect right here, but it's fine. Okay, and then I wanted to show you how to soften an edge. I'm just going to grab some color here. It's getting a little muddy in there, but that's okay. And they go try to put every little blade in here or something like that. What we want to do instead of leaving it like that is take the tip, remove the extra water, and lose an edge. And that's how we're going to get something like this. Even though this could use more work, it's that basic idea. Even here, it's like getting those little brush strokes in there and then softening an edge, very similar to what I did here. So I hope that helps give you a better idea of how you can avoid overworking your paintings just by losing an edge here and there. So have fun and happy painting.